Counting the inventory in your business is only the first step to performing a full periodic count.
Once the count is completed, the reconciliation between what is on the system or warehouse management system, known as theoretical inventory, and what is on the floor, known as physical inventory, needs to be done.
Inventory reconciliation is not as simple as just adjusting the quantities on the system to match the physical count. Each discrepancy needs to be investigated and resolved.
Reasons for inaccuracy in a stock count can include an incorrect count. The counting team could have missed some of the inventory and it was not counted. A recount done by another person may be conducted to verify the quantities counted, and additional locations where the inventory may be stored are investigated.
Differing units of measure. If an SKU is recorded on the WMS in 1 unit of measure, such as 1 dozen bottles, but is counted in single bottles, this will create a discrepancy in the count. Incorrect part numbers. Sometimes, in the hurry to get items counted, the counter may misread the SKU number or even incorrectly guess which SKU it is.
Missing paperwork. A transaction has occurred, but no one has yet recorded it on the WMS. Possibility of scrap. Materials which are used for production may be scrapped for any number of reasons, and if this is not accurately recorded on the WMS, the records will differ.
Customer-owned stock. Inventory may belong to the customer, but is still stored in the warehouse. This can occur when the customer does not have sufficient space. Backflush processes not being recorded. If the backflush process has not been actioned before the stock take begins, this can cause raw material and finished goods inventory to be out of balance.
A key takeaway from performing a stock take is to identify areas where problems often occur and to correct processes so that inventory accuracy becomes a priority for all who work in the warehouse.
So, what if there are discrepancies between the physical and theoretical inventory?
Activities that the stock take supervisor will action include recount the stock in question, check in other locations for the stock item, ensure that the correct unit of measure was used, verify that the SKU or product identification number is correct, ensure that the product has not been mistaken for a similar product, confirm that there is no missing paperwork. Investigate whether theft by employees or customers has occurred and check procedures.
Once all possible explanations have been investigated, the variances are then accepted on the WMS. It is important to bear in mind that any negative variance will result in a write-off of inventory, which will have a negative impact on the company profit.
This is why investigating and correcting inventory records before a stock take is closed off is so important.
Problem-solving techniques which can be used to get to the source of the discrepancies are the following. 5 whys. Ask questions based on answers to previous questions, such as, why is there a difference between the physical and theoretical count? Because there is missing inventory. Why is there missing inventory? Because the receipt was recorded against the incorrect SKU. Why was the receipt recorded against the incorrect code? Because the box was labeled incorrectly. Why was the box labeled incorrectly? And so on until you reach the real cause of the problem so that it can be corrected and not occur again.
Another technique involves asking who, when, where, how, why, and what. By asking these questions, the real problem can be identified and corrected. A fishbone diagram provides an opportunity to brainstorm ideas and reach the root cause of a problem. This technique can be used to identify reasons for inventory inaccuracy, but it can also be used to solve much more complex problems within a company.
Other techniques include making use of the Pareto analysis approach, which analyzes problems to find the ones that have the most impact. Charts can also be used to plot information and give a high-level view of where problems may exist. These can include run charts, frequency histograms, and flow charts.
One of the additional outcomes of stock taking is identification of excess inventory. Excess inventory is identified as such because it remains in the warehouse unused or unsold for much longer than is necessary.
The danger of this is that there is a high potential for the inventory to become obsolete, which means it will need to be written off. This is never a good situation to be in.
Excess inventory is often a result of bad planning, and highlighting this during a stock take becomes a useful tool for managing inventory levels.
Stock take is a critical process for management of inventory, which is one of the company's most important assets. Knowing why the discrepancies between physical inventory and theoretical inventory exists, and finding the path to correcting these so that they do not reoccur is extremely important for inventory management.